Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about French big man Ismael Kamagate, who currently plays for Paris basketball in the NLB Pro A. Jumping right into it, let's talk about Kamagate's finishing. At 6'11", Ismael finds himself under the basket quite often for easy finishes, shooting 68.2% from the field as of December 29th. Kamagate is not the most skilled finisher just yet, but will flash some nifty moves. His freakish athleticism allows him to play above the rim and rise over defenders. Kamagate also has a good understanding of spacing and really knows how to use that dunker spot to his advantage. Most of the time, the only thing stopping him from finishing are fouls. Because of this ability to play above the rim, there's also a lot of potential for him to become a lob threat. He's also shown great signs of being a player who's able to attack the rim on the catch and be a potential cutter. Next up, let's talk about his post game. Kamagate is not a skilled back to the basket big. His possessions don't really showcase any footwork or finesse. Rather, he bull rushes the defender until he gets the look he wants, but this won't work at the next level. Now, let's touch on his mid-range shooting. Kamagate has a decent looking shot which could be promising as some sort of a stretch big. He hasn't attempted a 3 this season, but in the limited sample size, his mid-range shot seems to have some potential. It also is worth mentioning he has been shooting his free throws at a 70% clip. Moving on, let's talk about his ability to crash the offensive glass. Easily the strongest part of his game, Ismael is grabbing 2.4 offensive rebounds per game. He makes the effort to really be a pest on the offensive glass. Even when he's boxed out, he'll still get a hand up and tip it either to himself or to teammates. Often he goes up with it right after, which doesn't always go his way, but his quick second jump really aids his ability to get these types of rebounds. Even though he doesn't always get the putback, he gets them more often than not. It's not always the prettiest, but it definitely gets the job done. Some of these clips really showcase how athletic he really is, and at the next level, second chance points are a deciding factor in most games. I quickly just want to touch on his potential as a playmaker. He only averages 0.7 assists per game, but from the eye test, he seems to have good instincts as a passer. Even as a roll man, he'll have his eyes up and can find open shooters who don't always hit the shots, which probably explains the 0.7 average. But at the next level, this could really benefit the team. He also does a good job hitting cutters in stride. Moving on to the defensive side of the ball, Kamagate has all the tools to be a really good interior defender. His 7'3" wingspan helps alter shots at the rim despite his average of 0.1 blocks per game. He challenges shots vertically without fouling and at times could be a really good help defender. There is a lot of problems with his current level of defense. He finds himself in no man's land entirely too often. He'll get bullied despite his 227-pound frame, and he has a tendency to try to do too much on defense. He'll leave his man to help his teammate, which just invites an open pass. Kamagate is a really good post defender. He does a good job of moving his opposition away from the basket on post-ups. And even when he gives up ground, his verticality makes life hard on the other team. His long wingspan also excites me for when Kamagate is fronting the post. As we can see in this clip, he's able to disrupt the entry pass. His post defense isn't perfect, however. We'll see him on this possession have both arms out instead of one forearm on the opponent's back, which gives up the easy basket. Ismael is everything NBA teams want in a modern big. In a league dominated by isolations and pick and rolls, having center who can guard out on the perimeter effectively is invaluable. He moves well laterally and contests shots on the perimeter really well. As a big, he's going to lose some isolation possessions though, just the way it is. Kamagate is still raw on defense. It can be really rough around the edges at times, giving up angles to opponents. However, he makes up for it most of the time. For a prospect who will be 21.5 when he's drafted, you would want him to be a little more polished though. However, the talent is apparent. Moving on to pick and roll defense. In the NBA, it's substantial for a center to be able to guard the pick and roll well. He does a good job here cutting off the passing lane to the roll man and boxing out for the rebound. We'll see him force a guard to pick up his dribble on the switch and takes the lob away from the ball handler. Kamagate has the foot speed to be an effective pick and roll defender. However, his fundamentals are a little off. The way he guards the pick and roll invites the lob for the roll man. He stays in no man's land way too often. On most of these possessions, he's lucky the roll man couldn't get the finish, but don't expect that same level of luck to translate to the next level. Ismael lacks defensive IQ, to put it bluntly. We'll see him essentially screen his own teammate on this possession, giving up a wide open three. On this possession, we'll see him hedge up on the screen to take away the mid-range shot. However, he should know the rotation is coming from his teammate, meaning he needs to close out to his teammate's assignment. However, he just never rotates. On this possession, Kyle O'Quinn is guarding the pick and roll. Kamagate takes it onto himself to help, even though his man is one pass away and the wing is the help defender. The helper still rotates inside as he was supposed to, but Kamagate takes the helper's assignment and bumps the roll man, leaving his man wide open in the corner. We talked about just how great of an offensive rebounder Kamagate is, but for some reason it does not translate on the defensive end. He seems to put in a lot less effort to crash the defensive board, which is unfortunate. He's only averaging 3.6 a game. He allows offensive rebounds too often and at times will overexert himself to help on defense, taking himself out of position for the board. It's also worth noting how players are able to break his box out with a simple swim move.